Welcome to the next episode of eWisdom Wednesday. Today, we're going to find out what's for breakfast, what customers and employees have in common, and we're going to find out what Agile software development really is or is not. Welcome to the channel. Today, we're continuing our weekly series called eWisdom Wednesday, where we take a look at the memes, the one-liners, the blurbs, and the other great pearls of wisdom that often fly by on LinkedIn. Some of it is great, some of it not so much. So let's dive into the first piece that flew by on my feed about 3 days ago. So this one's a pretty simple blurb. It just says, workplace culture eats strategy for breakfast. Now, I generally like this one, and if you've seen my other videos, you'll know that I see workplace culture as critically important. However, I am also a strategist just by nature, so I'm inclined to ask, why can't we have both? Culture and strategy are not adversaries and can coexist peacefully. Strategy will run more effectively under an engaged, energetic, and happy culture, and I have found that it is easier to keep the culture happy and engaged when people understand what the strategy even is. The idea of culture without strategy reminds me of an analogy that a colleague of mine used many years ago, and it stuck with me. Imagine you're lost in the forest, and your sole mission is just to get out. Now imagine your approach is to run as hard and as fast as you can until you hit a tree. Then you turn a little bit, and then you run as hard and as fast as you can until you hit a tree, and so on. Now, if you keep your turns random enough, I can actually mathematically prove that you will escape the forest if you survive the process. But enthusiastic and collaborative chaos is really still just chaos. Strategy without culture, however, it really isn't any better. Now you have an approach and some disciplines in place to evaluate your progress, and you can course correct as necessary. Things are orderly. However, people hate their jobs and don't trust management. It will all fall apart long before the organization ever gets to the finish line. Politics, distrust, and disengagement will unfortunately win out. So, if I had to pick only one of either culture or strategy, I would also pick culture, and I can agree with this piece of eWisdom on that front. However, I do believe that it is management's responsibility to cultivate both to everyone's benefit. Moving on to eWisdom number 2, we have this post that says, what your employees are feeling, your customers will feel. Customers will never feel better than your employees. I've actually seen several different variations on this, and I happen to agree with every single one of them. The most famous quote along these lines is attributed to Sir Richard Branson, who said, clients do not come first, employees come first. If you take care of your employees, they will take care of the clients. And I've also heard a variation that says, your customer's experience will never exceed your employee's experience. They are all indicating the same thing. What the employees feel from their culture will leak out, whether positive or negative, into the customer experience. If the culture is distrustful, disengaged, apathetic, or just broken in some other way, you can hardly expect that employees are going to be delivering that little bit extra to delight the customers. But on the flip side, however, in cultures that are engaged, collaborative, and trusting, I've seen the exact opposite. Employees do go that extra mile of their own volition. They take pride in making the customer experience the best that it can be, whether that shows up in customer conversations, negotiations, or building product for them. And this is a big piece of my personal philosophy in the workplace. If a company demonstrates that they have the employees' backs, the employees will go out of their way to have yours in return. It's honestly as simple as that, and it has worked every single time. Now let's look at the last piece of eWisdom for the day. This one is very simple. Agile, in quotes, is not a mindset. Because this poor fellow got a little roasted on LinkedIn, I'm not sharing who posted it. However, the colorful image you just saw was accompanied by a post, and that post read, it's crazy there are people out there that think Agile is a mindset. This proves that the Kool-Aid from the Agile Industrial Complex, in brackets, cult, is strong. You can have a growth mindset, an entrepreneurial mindset, an abundance mindset, a challenge mindset, a mindful mindset. But there's no such thing as an agile mindset. Agile is for project management, nothing more, nothing less. I had a pretty good sense after reading that post that he'd be beaten up pretty badly, and I was not wrong on that front. I mean, in fairness, he's stating a very forceful opinion about something he clearly has wrong and doesn't understand very well at all. You see, Agile is only a mindset. It's derived from a manifesto, and you can see it for yourself at agilemanifesto.org. That's where this caption is taken from. The word manifesto should say it all. Agile isn't a process or a mechanism or a tool. It's a philosophy. And the philosophy is very simple at its core. We are uncovering better ways of developing software by doing it and helping others to do it. Through this work, we have come to value individuals and interactions over processes and tools, working software over comprehensive documentation, customer collaboration over contract negotiation, responding to change over following a plan. That is, while there is value in the items on the right, we value the items on the left more. You can't manage a project from that. This isn't for project management at all. It's a belief system. And if a belief system isn't a mindset, I don't know what is. And I mean, I think the definition of mindset is pretty clear. 1. A fixed mental attitude or disposition that predetermines a person's responses to and interpretations of situations. 2. An inclination or a habit. 3. A way of thinking, an attitude or opinion, especially a habitual one. That, I think, is what a manifesto is. Now, once you layer all of the specific methodologies on top of it, Scrum or extreme programming, for example, things can definitely become much more dogmatic. But that's not an agility thing. That is an implementation of agility thing. The poster really stepped in it here. He simply didn't understand what he was posting about well enough. And in trying to assert his expertise, well, he did exactly the opposite. And that's it for this week's episode of eWisdom Wednesday. Have you had any interesting or ridiculous tidbits of wisdom in your LinkedIn feeds of late? Let me know down in the comments below. Thanks for watching, everyone, and I hope to see you in the next one.